Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend, nice long weekend. My project today is a box for lemon drops. Now, this is my daughter's and she didn't open it, so I didn't put any inside, but I would probably put them in a little cello bag and put them inside here, just so that they stay fresh, because they're not going to eat lemon drops all at once. I used the cup of tea stamp set along with the teacup dies and the Tea Boutique designer series paper. I know the designer series paper is not available till next week. I think it's coming back in. All right. And I used the rectangle stitch dies here for the sentiment that's in the middle. Okay. So what we need for this project. I forgot to put my host code here. If you are going to purchase anything from me, put this host code in if you're going to be spending under $150, because then I can send everybody a little something. Okay, yes, if you're spending over $150, you don't want to put in the host code because you want to get your Stampin' rewards. Okay? All right, so what we need for this project is some basic white for stamping, a piece of garden green that is 10 by 5 3/4. We need 2 pieces of the Tea Boutique's DSP that are 3 by 2 1/2. 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. And 2 pieces of this pattern, which I put on the top parts, that is 3 by 3/4. Alrighty. Alright, so let me get my Simply Scored. And we're going to start on the 10-inch side. And all of these measurements will be on my blog that is linked below. And we're going to score at 1/2, 3 3/4, 5 1/4, and 8 1/2. I'm going to turn it a quarter turn to the 5 3/4 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 1/2, 4 1/4, oh goodness, 4 1/4, and 5 1/4. Okay, now I'm going to fold and burnish. And now, this is what we're going to do. The skinniest rectangles are on the top and on the left-hand side. And that's what we're going to do. Okay? All right. So, we're going to start on the lower left-hand side. And we're going to take off this rectangle here. So we're going to cut it to the first score line and then just wedge up a little bit into that piece above it. Okay, go to the next score line, cut it straight. The next score line, cut it straight, and we're going to the first score line horizontally, and we're going to wedge both sides of the square. Right, to the other side of this rectangle, cut it straight to the first score line. And then we're going to wedge each side of the square. Okay, and that's that bottom part. Then we're going to turn it 180. And we're going to go to the first score line, and we're just going to cut it to the first score line. And then we're going to get rid of this piece here. Skip these 2 rectangles, go to the next score line and cut it straight to the first score line. Next one, straight to the first score line, and then we're going to get rid of this piece right here. Okay. And then we're going to go to the next score line here, and then we're going to wedge just a little bit off of that end square. Okay, Now that's what it should look like. And then I'm going to get our corner rounder and I'm going to round these 4 corners. Just bend in your side piece. All right, and then we don't really need this little piece all the way at the top here, so I'm just going to cut that off. All right. So that's what your cardstock should look like after you've done cutting it, scoring it, cutting it, and rounding these corners. Okay, now we need some tear and tape, and we're going to put it on what's left of this skinny rectangle here, right close to the score line. Okay, I'm going to take the backing off with my Take Your Pick tool. And we're going to flip the side with the tape and flip the other side over to meet it. Now this is our back here. Okay, so we're going to put in the sides and the back, and this is where we want to put the rest of our tear and tape. I'm going to put one close to the edge and one underneath. And then I'm just going to close it over. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to push on the sides, but we want this score line to stay nicely. All right, so if it doesn't stay already, like see, this one is staying just fine, but this one, oh no, this one's staying fine too. But if you're having a problem, what I do is I put my bone folder in where, here it is, as I'm squeezing it, and I just keep this score line straight, this one right here. Okay, and that's the box. All right, now we need some DSP. Okay, now we're going to get our DSP. We have 2 that are 3 by 2.5. Ooh, dust. On the front and the back. We have 2 that are 1 1/4 by 2.5 are going to go on these sides. And 2 that are 3 by 3/4 that are going to go on these top flat pieces. Okay? And I'm going to put them on with liquid glue. Okay, now we're just going to let this dry while we do some stamping. Okay, so I'm going to use the thank you, and all of these images are from Cup of Tea. We're going to use the thank you, the bigger flower here, and the lemon. Okay, and I'm sorry, this piece right here, this sprig. Okay. So with Tuxedo Black Ink, we're going to use the thank you, and we want to make sure, this is the die I'm using from the rectangle stitched dies, we want to make sure that it has enough room around it to be cut out. Excellent. Okay, and that's it for this. All right, and then I'm going to put this right on here. And I'll tape it down and I'll cut that out right like that. Okay. All right. And then we need 2 of the lemons, and I'm going to use Daffodil Delight Ink. And what I found with the lemons is you don't have to press too hard for it to come out nicely. But if I press too hard, it fills in the middle. Okay, and then we need the die for that, and this is all from the teacup dies, and I'll cut this one out twice. Okay, and then we need the little flower. And this is going to be in also in Daffodil Delight, but I'm going to stamp it off once so that it's nice and light. A little bit different color. Okay, and that's this die here. And then we need garden green ink for the leaves, I guess. I'm just going to put that right there. Perfect. And then this die here goes right on top of that. Okay, and I'm going to cut these out and I will be right back. So here is our thank you, and it has a nice stitched rectangle around it. Here are the 2 lemons, the little flower, and the leaves. Okay, and I'm going to use my silicone mat just so that it doesn't get too messy. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue these on to the rectangle first. All right, so I'm just going to put the 1 lemon just kind of diagonally right at the bottom. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take the other lemon and I'm just going to kind of put them right next to it. So I only need glue right here for now. Okay, I'm going to put the flower over here. And it can stick off just a little bit. And then the leaves I'm going to put so that they just kind of show off the bottom and the sides and the top. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right like this. And just place it right how I like. I think I like it. Okay. See? All right, and I'm just going to let that dry for a second. Okay. Now I would, of course, take some of these lemon drops. These are from Christmas Tree Shop, but I always see these in a lot of drugstores and in, when we're traveling, I see them in the Cracker Barrels. But you could use any lemon drops you want or any gift you like. Okay. Now, I'm just going to use a clip that I got from Amazon. These are called Bulldog clips, and I think I got 100 of them for $14.99. But I think in Walmart and Target, you could probably get your hands on them. Okay. All right. Now we need, I can get rid of that, some dimensionals and mini dimensionals. And I'm going to put a mini dimensional right at the top of this leaf there, and on this lemon that comes out, and then I'll put 2 dimensionals, one right there and one right there. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to make sure which is the front. Here's the front of my box. I'm going to take this off. I have a hard time getting the minis off with my fingers, so I just use the take your pick tool. Okay, and I'm just going to try to center this as best as I can. There we go. Okay. Okay, now what we need is about 11 or 12 inches doubled of the, now you can just put a single bow. I put a double bow on this one, which I kind of liked. So I'm going to do 12 inches doubled. I'm just going to tie a bow. Okay, I'll just separate these and trim the ends. Great. Okay, I only wasted a little bit. Okay, so that was 12 inches doubled. All right, and then I'm just going to put 2 glue dots on the back. I'm just going to place it right in the top here, towards the top of this DSP. Give it a good press. Okay, my camera went off. So what I did for my final touch is I took some classic matte dots. I put a small one on the little flower and 2 larger ones right here and here. Okay. Actually, I think this one is my one, sorry. All right, so if you have any questions, my email is below. Remember, my blog with all the measurements is below, and my shop where you can purchase. Okay, I also wanted to send out a big thank you to Mary. She's on my team. She sent me this card. This card touched me so much because it's the first card I've gotten from a subscriber. And second of all, my mother, who has passed on 2 years now, would have sent me something almost exactly like this for 4th of July. She was the only one that ever sent me 4th of July things. So, Mary, thank you very much. I was so thrilled to get this. Thank you. Okay. All right. If you have any questions, again, my email's below. Please like and subscribe. And if you're having problems with notifications, I usually upload on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, but this week was screwy because of the holiday, but usually it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, you have to check if you're not getting your notifications. I don't know what's going on with that. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the time, and I will see you next time. Bye.